Times mother slept with multiple men on paternity court.
2 weeks later, I find out she ended up having sex with him.
With your roommate?
Yes.
I've come to find out that she slept around with one guy, then another guy. I'm just perplexed about the situation.
So you were sleeping with 3 co-workers from the sandwich shop.
Growing up with one parent missing is hard, but this young lady has chosen that fate for her daughter.
Past 2 years, you've been living in uncertainty and confusion. You're not sure which of 3 men fathered your 2-year-old daughter, Jasmine, and say you grew up without a father and don't want the same for your little girl.
Which is correct.
But wait, there was also a potential grandparent who was filling in for his son.
Possible grandfather, Mr. Joe Harrison Sr., because his son Joe Jr. is unable to appear in court today, we've tested Mr. Harrison Sr. to help determine paternity. Now, Ms. Alston, please explain to the court how 3 different men could possibly be your daughter's biological father.
I did have sex with all 3 men within a 2-week period of time.
However, the defendant totally denied all the claims.
She did cheat on me and she told me about it. When that happened, yeah, we kind of worked on it, but I never really got over it.
When you found out she was pregnant, what were you thinking?
Here's how she told me she was pregnant. How would you feel if you're not the dad?
That's not how I told you. I told you that I was pregnant. I told you after the test that you may not be the father.
Mr. Joe Jr. had played his part in the paternal duties right from the start.
He was there for most of my pregnancy. Robert was only there for the first sonogram. That was it. It was really between Mr. Jones and Joe Jr. Those are the only 2 people throughout the whole pregnancy knew that they were possible.
So the grandparents were there thinking they were having a grandchild for real?
Yes, they did. I didn't tell them because I didn't want it to be out. It was unexpected when I saw both of them there at the hospital.
Next, Mr. Jones' mother was brought onto the podium.
So you were not aware that there was a possibility that there was any other potential biological father?
No. Well, when I arrived, the baby was already born.
Okay.
And I introduced myself to everyone. I'm the baby's grandfather. Complete silence. Unnerving. I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I was just thinking in my mind, well, maybe she's not. That's the impression that I left with.
Mr. Jones told the court why he was not there for baby Jasmine.
I've been wanted a DNA test for Jasmine's whole life right now. Like my mother just said, every time it came down for us to do something, she would go part way. But once it's time for us to actually do it, she would find some kind of excuse for her not to be there.
However, Jasmine had an extra set of potential grandparents. She only knew one man as her father.
He helped me from last August until early this February because I lost my job, so I was financially unstable.
Well, 7 months out of a 2-year, that's a significant amount of time for her to spend with somebody. He's been a father figure. You know, I want to hear from him. Jerome, can you please escort Mr. Delkin to the courtroom, please?
Now, it was time to hear his side of the story.
You spent a significant amount of time with Jasmine, and you say you've been a father figure to her.
He further disclosed this to the court.
She lives with me up until 30 days ago it's been 30 days. I mean, it happened
more than 30 days. I've been at my job for almost 3 months.
Look here, you got her 4 days before my birthday. I was born on May 30th. Do the math.
I got her way before then because she started daycare again back in March.
The point is you had a bond with this little girl. They were staying with you. You were helping.
Let's sort this out for Jasmine.
It has been determined that you are not her grandfather. It has been determined that the biological father is Mr. Delk.
Mr. DeLeon refuses to father his fiance's children because of a list of past infidelity.
That you are doubtful that these 2 children are yours because you claim Ms. Ramirez slept with at least 7 other men during the course of your relationship.
Yes,
and you say with a track record like that, there's only a slim chance that you fathered either of these children.
Yes, ma'am.
When the judge asked the plaintiff how they met, she told this fairy tale.
Gilbert was homeless at the time when I first met him. I asked my mom if he can move in with us, and she said yes. My mom saw that he was smoking weed. That was a big no. She told him to leave, and I was in love with him. I followed him, and I believed him that he was gonna take care of me, and he lied.
And when did you find out you were pregnant?
When me and Gilbert were together, I left and I met someone else, an old friend, slept with him, went back to Gilbert a few days later.
She even brought a conception calendar as evidence.
So these are the dates of conception for your child, Ian.
Yes, ma'am.
In yellow is outlined the dates that you had intimate relations with Mr. De Leon.
Yes, ma'am.
The other color outlined the dates you were intimate with a friend.
Yes, ma'am.
This entire time is the estimated dates of conception.
Yes.
But Miss Ramirez wasn't always this honest. was she?
She had been intimate with someone else, am I correct?
I actually had to find out on my own. She didn't tell me that she was having intimate relationships with other people. At the same time, I would ask her, is everything okay? Do you love me? Do you don't love me? She would tell me yes. You know, nothing else is going on. So I found text messages on her phone about another guy stating, you know, hey, I like the way you hugged me today, how you ran and jumped up on me and I held you.
Still, after some relevant amount of doubt, Mr. DeLeon stepped up as the father.
I'm the one that put on the gloves, the apron, and everything. I pulled the child out of her. There was nobody else there to deliver that child. I did that both of my children. I cut the umbilical cord.
Yes, but you refused to sign the birth certificate.
How would I be sure if you slept with quite a few other people?
Mr. DeLeon, you were there to usher the child into the world and you wouldn't sign the birth certificate because you had the doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
Nonetheless, the baby mama claimed that she was not the only one to blame in all of this.
Staying out and not coming back when he said he was, you took that as rejection.
Yes, ma'am.
You felt like, well, you obviously aren't that into me.
Yes.
How did you find out she was cheating during the time of conception?
Her mother had kicked me out of the house. So I had no other option but to find any job I could possibly get without a high school diploma.
And this is how infidelity banged into their lives.
I moved into the apartment with my friend. She called me and complained that her mother didn't want her at the house, that she was tired of being with her mom. So I took it upon myself and brought her into the home. Well, at that point in time that she went off and told me that my friend ended up touching her on the leg and say, hey, let's go to the room. She came down and ran to me and told me, hey, he's doing this I don't like. 2 weeks later, I find out she ended up having sex with him.
Mr. DeLeon still tried to make this right.
Still took the benefit of the doubt and forgave her for what she did. I got us an apartment there on property and I would work and I would work and I would work. She ended up still going back to that guy's apartment and going to see him again.
Really? Mr. DeLeon, you kept taking her back?
What can I say? I guess I took it for the benefit of the doubt and I forgave her for it because supposedly these are my children.
But stepping up was getting harder every minute.
After this child was born, no more than a couple months later, she ended up leaving me and telling me that these kids aren't mine over an argument because I'm working too much.
Ms. Ramirez, did you tell him that?
Yes, I told him that he wasn't the father only and that I was upset at him.
And then I ended up receiving a text message on Facebook and a picture.
So let's end Mr. DeLeon's troubles with simple DNA solutions.
Mr. DeLeon, you are his father.
This mother is looking for child support, but has no idea who among her 3 flings is her baby daddy.
Now you're asking the court to award you $475 in back child care expenses should one of 3 men be identified as your baby's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, Mr. Morton at the defendant's side started off the trial with this statement.
Endless list of men Ms. Prowl has slept with has led you all here to paternity court. You believe it'll be proven today that you are not her baby's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
What upsets you most about this situation?
In this situation, I was under the impression that was, me and her pretty much against the world.
Let's dive into how it all began.
She was there about maybe or 2 before I started working there. So when I got in, she invited me to kind of go ice skating. Needless to say, come to the day that we were supposed to go ice skating, we didn't make it to the ice rink. She pretty much came back straight to my place. I don't need to go any further from there.
Ms. Prowl, you started a relationship with Mr. Morton.
Yes.
Mr. Morton, on the other hand, found out about his woman's infidelity like this.
I worked at a sandwich shop. We were running low on bread that day. Location near where I worked at, where I was sent to get more bread. So I go into the sandwich shop. The guy, I think his name is Mr. Gaddis. He was gonna hand me the bag of bread. Before he did so, he asked me, was I involved with Miss Prowl? I told him yes. We had a little thing going on at the time. It wasn't very, very serious.
Okay, that is honest in some sense.
Were you cheating with Mr. Gaddis or not?
Yes, I was.
Do you also believe he could potentially be your child's father?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Gaddis was not able to appear today, but he did offer a video statement.
I don't think I'm the father, because we only messed around a few times and I didn't hear from her for months after that.
Ms. Prowl also got this reality check by the judge.
Please do not cut me off
how are you trying to justify these actions?
When you want to make a relationship work, having sex in the bathroom at a party is not really the way to do it. This Mr. Gaddis thing was just, like you said, a one-time thing, but it was during the time of conception, and so he could possibly be your child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Down part is that count didn't end there. as there was still another potential father to be questioned.
We also met, and I do want to say for the record, I'm very remorseful for what I did because that was totally out of spite. That's what it was. I did it because I found out he was messing around with someone else. Excuse me. So I said, okay, you know, you didn't put a ring on my finger. You want to go talk to other people? Fine, I can do the same thing.
Wow, this is messier than messy.
2 wrongs don't make a right. It doesn't make it
You
right for me to go
recognize
do it.
that this is 3 wrongs, though?
Yes, Your Honor.
He did wrong, but then you got him back, Mr.
Bye.
Gaddis,
Yes, Your Honor.
Threefold.
and then Mr. Laurie.
Yes,
so,
Your Honor.
wrong.
Jerome, I think it's time we meet Mr. Laurie. Please bring him into the courtroom.
Well, the third potential father had this to say about his encounter with the plaintiff.
You knew we had sex more than once. Why wasn't I hit up for this? Like, why weren't I called?
Can I say something, Your Honor?
I'm talking now.
Can I say something, Your
never,
Honor?
Never. No calls, no texts. Because I switched jobs. How we met at a party. We drinking, we go back in the room. Of course, what happens? Teenagers. After all this goes down, you know, we go back to work. I think of it like, okay.
How do people pull such stunts off?
So you were sleeping with 3 co-workers from the sandwich shop.
Yes, Your Honor.
You contacted 2 of them to say you were pregnant, but you never contacted him.
Yes, Your Honor. But I do not want him to be my child's father.
Well, you can't control that, can you?
Possibly
You
to
act like
be
you
the
can pick.
father.
No one is talking to you.
Wow.
I didn't know you could pick.
Now, let's have some good schooling and jump to the result.
Asking him, does he know how to change a diaper? None of you all are that far out of diapers. You don't have any business sleeping around, not protecting yourself. Now you question him, is he good with kids and he's this? Now all of a sudden you select it. When I'm looking at a rainbow colored board, you don't even know how to be selective when it counts. The father is Mr. Morton.
Miss Meyer's indefinite paternity has already been established in another court, but she's in court today due to a paternity dispute.
Mr. Lowe, you've opened your case because after years of questioning Ms. Meyer's fidelity, it was confirmed in court that Ms. Meyer cheated on you during the time of conception, or you have serious doubt that you are the father of 2-year-old Phelan. You say you need these answers because you now believe she's pinned a baby on you.
Yes, Your Honor.
But Miss Meyer started off emotionally.
I'm feeling emotional because I know for a fact that Phelan is Tyler's daughter. It's just hard to go through this.
Why do you feel like he has doubt?
Your Honor, I feel like he has doubts because I was a stripper at the time of me getting pregnant, but I know for a fact that Phelan is Tyler's, and he was the only man that I was with.
Still, things were not that simple. If they would have been, then the couple wouldn't be in paternity court.
Well, he says he thinks you're a cheater.
She had taken a lie detector test, and the results came back from that test that she had been lying about cheating, about hooking up from her job.
So you actually appeared in court over these cheating allegations.
Yes, absolutely. I believe that she's cheating on me.
I did not cheat on him. I have not ever cheated on him.
Have you been truthful with him?
For the most part.
So the judge asked Mr. Lowe what else he found about the cheating part.
After that court appearance, what did you discover?
Once I got home from court, she admitted to cheating with one person.
And this was around the time of conception, presumably, or you wouldn't be here.
Correct.
So you got her to admit after years and years
Yes.
of not being able to get a straight answer, you finally got her to just say, I did cheat.
Next, Miss Meyer was asked about the pregnancy.
When do you find out? How do you find out?
It was June 2016. I realized that I had missed a menstrual cycle, so I took the pregnancy test. All of them immediately popped up positive.
Mr. Lowe even told the court how he was uncomfortable with his girlfriend's acquaintances.
Walked directly right by the vehicle and got into another vehicle with a man and just drove off right in front of me, Your Honor. She would call them sugar daddies. You're not gonna tell me that you may just go hang out with a friend that's a guy. I totally get it, whatever. But you're not gonna keep going and going with your sugar daddy multiple different times throughout the week and just getting money for free. People don't give money for free for nothing.
Which makes things really bad for the defendant.
With tears in your eyes over the fact of how in the world how could I get here? You act like you Chicken Little and the sky is falling. I mean, no, really. How you understand now, if this is gonna be your course of action, then he's gonna think you're cheating.
After this, the plaintiff's witness was brought to the podium.
Is it your opinion that your son is Phelan's biological father?
I do not.
You do not. And I can see how sad that makes you to say that.
I'm sorry.
According to his mother, he was diagnosed infertile.
He was involved in a dirt bike accident to where he had to go to the emergency room, have surgery on his scrotum, to where then the doctors were telling us that when the time came, he may not be able to produce children.
Now, let's gavel some DNA into this situation.
Mr. Lowe, you are the father.
Ms. Henderson is in Judge Lake's court because her mother's actions have landed her in a paternity dispute.
Mr. Henderson was your biological father, but at the age of 15, Mr. Rycroft claimed he is your dad. You are doubtful and have opened today's case to get the truth. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rycroft, you say you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Ms. Henderson is your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
The young woman at the podium told the court how the big question, who is my daddy, has affected her whole life.
My kids, they want to know their grandparents. My daughter, she tells me all the time, Mom, we're going to find your dad. I'm just ready. I want to be close to somebody, be close to them.
But Rycroft did not doubt that he was the biological father.
You are Ms. Henderson's biological father, and you know it beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yes, Your Honor. When we met, I know, I just felt it.
And Miss Henderson's auntie also vouched for the same.
My sister's resting in her grave, and that my niece needs to know who her family really is. I just need to know too, for sure, so she can get a peace of mind. We can all move on, but the point is, either way it go, he's been her father, and they're gonna remain being her father.
But the young women were more concerned about the truth than the feelings.
Henderson, this is who you grew up knowing was your father.
Yes, and during the time that I stayed there, I was treated different from my sister. They used to tell me that I wasn't their uncle's daughter, that I was adopted.
Your Honor, can I go over there for a minute?
So,
would you like to go?
Yes, I would.
I asked him too. I said, Daddy, are you my daddy? And he told me that. He was like, I'm the only daddy you got.
While Mr. Henderson had this to say to the court.
I treat my wife like my wife, regardless what she do.
As she was your wife, why was there any question about Miss Henderson's paternity?
She left me in California, went to visit her mother in Arkansas. When she came back, about a month or two, my other daughter told me that my mom is pregnant. I told her, if it's a girl, it's ours. If it's the boy, you gotta go.
However, it turned out the late mommy wasn't very honest.
They both was in a relationship. They both was married. And then when my sister called and told me, I said, it's not my place to tell.
Okay, so now at what point did your sister tell you the secret?
After she's been here 2 years.
What did she say? How did she say it?
I said, who is her dad? You can't lie to me because we twins. Who is her dad? And she said, William.
Well, it turns out that women at the podium were even tested before, and the results said this.
Mr. Rycroft is your biological father?
No, because before my mom passed, I was questioning her. Who was my dad? And she gave me this man's name. It wasn't until I got older that I decided to go and see this man. I don't know what to believe right now.
What happened when you met him? You said you went to go see him? What happened?
I thought I looked like him too.
So, it was time to get the result we were waiting for.
The probability of paternity was determined to be 0.00%. He's not your biological father.
Get the medic, get the medic.
Someone call the medic, please.
What if it's nobody, you know?
I'll always be your dad.
I know, Daddy. That's not what I'm looking for.